Why, hello! It is so good to see you. I am so sorry. I was not expecting guests. As you can tell, I was getting ready for a nice cup of tea. I just got back from the road. Well, I sure hope you don't mind indulging this old doll in a cup of tea as I tell you about the road trip. You see, I, being a doll, cannot drive. I know, big surprise. But there are many out there who choose not to own their own automobile. Those people, they live their life on the open road. And quite a life they live. Adventure, mystery, uncertainty. So I hope you enjoy these two tales of hitchhikers living on the open road. Preston Garvey was a good man, often gave generously to the local church offering plate. He was not quite wealthy, but he did make enough to be comfortable in life. One day, while driving his automobile into town, a few miles out, I would say, he saw a young man who had his thumb out in the classic hitchhiker sign and a frown on his face. Preston pulled over the car, opened up the door, and asked, "Hey, do you need a lift into town?" The man looked surprised that anyone should stop and talk to him. He was down on his luck, replying, "Yeah, thanks. I could really use a lift. Oh, it's been hot today. Thank you so much for stopping." Preston smiled because he is a kind man. "Go on, get inside. I got some bottled water, and if you'd like, I even have a Snickers." The man got inside, and he enjoyed the refreshments given by this good Samaritan. Once they got into town, they stopped at the local gas station. Preston went inside to get some snacks. His friend had other ideas. While walking up to the front of the convenience store, snacks in arms, Preston heard the telltale signs of a robbery. "Look, I don't want to hurt anybody, but give me all the money you got." To his surprise, it was the young man who had the nice shiny revolver pointed at the kind cashier lady. He then looked over at Preston and gave a smile, no malice in his face. "Look, you helped me out when I really needed it. Why don't you go ahead and take your snacks and go? It's on me." The moral of the story: always be kind to strangers. You may not know who you're picking up. They could just be a passenger going from point A to point B. but sometimes they may have mischievous motives in mind. Julia, she was a young college student traveling home to her small hometown. She was not one to shy away from those in need. In fact, on her way home, she saw a lady hitchhiking. A nice, lovely blonde woman, young thing. Maybe looked like she was in her 30s. Well, she stopped by and offered her a ride as she saw her walking on the highway. There was not much conversation. As they got closer and closer to town, Julia almost forgot she had a passenger until 2 miles from town, her passenger finally spoke. Listen, at the next light, don't go when it turns green. Whatever you do, do not go. Feeling unnerved by this sudden interruption of silence, Julia kept this to herself. And soon, they came to a stoplight. The light turned green, and the warning rang in Julia's head. She jumped when she heard a car behind her beeping. They were impatient to get home. Maybe had a turkey cooking in the oven. Who knows? But Julia, unsure what to do, whether to follow the warning that she was given or heed the impatience behind her, slowly started to inch forward. When out of nowhere, a large semi-truck carrying goods blasted through that intersection. You see, the driver was in a panic. The brakes were not working and he was coming down from a mountain highway road. Had Julie gone through that light when she was supposed to, that semi would have obliterated her car. She sat back, stunned at her fortune that she was still alive, and turned to thank her friend. But there was no one in the car. It wasn't until later that week that she saw in the local newspaper a memorial service for the same lady she had just picked up. Well, thank you so much for coming by and indulging me in some tea and listening to my scary stories of the road. Remember, you do not know who is out there, so be kind to everyone, and your kindness very well may be rewarded and save your life. I sure hope you come back for more stories. I'm sure I have some others in mind that you will enjoy.